Hello, viewers. We were doing the poem The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot. We had completed two sections of it. The first two sections of it, The Burial of the Dead and A Game of Chess. And we were in the third section, that is the Fire Sermon. We had completed till line number 265. And today we will proceed further with lines 266. So let us begin. The river sweats, oil and tar. The barges drift with the turning tide. Red sails wide to leeward swing on the heavy spar. The barges wash drifting logs down Greenwich Reach past the Isle of Dogs. Here we see the Thames River, which was considered sacred and holy, and we had a reference in the poem before this: sweet Thames, run softly till I continue, till I, what were the lines? Sweet Thames, run softly till I end my song. Sweet Thames, run softly, for I speak not loud or long, is now sweating oil and tar. What does this mean? This means the water of the Thames is covered with layers of oil leaking from the boats and tar washed away from the sides of the ship. The idea is that the water of the river is polluted by ships and boats that sail on the river. And here, the daughters of the Thames lament the loss of the chastity and pollution of water in this section. We'll see further. With the barges, drift means the barges are small boats, and drift means move or sail in the direction of the wind, and they move pieces of wood with it. And the barges wash drifting logs. The splash with water the logs that drift on the river down Greenwich Reach past the Isle of Dogs. Greenwich is the south bank of the River Thames at Greenwich, and Isle of Dogs is the river bank opposite Greenwich. Ve la 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 lea la la lie la la. These words are a refrain of the poem song sung by the daughter of Thames, lamenting the present situation. Beating oats, the stern was formed, a gilded shell, red and gold. The brisk well rippled both shores, southwest wind carried downstream the peal of bells, white towers, vie la la la, lie la, wa la la, lie la la. This means the scene of the boat moving on the Thames reminds the poet of the age of Queen Elizabeth. In that age, Queen Elizabeth used to go on a pleasure trip with her lover, the Earl of Leicester. And beating oars here means the rowing of the boat, and the ship is described as a shining structure, and the lines rippled both shores, the brisk swell, that is the waves produced in the river, they rippled both shores, they were washing both the shores, and rippled both shores, southwest wind carried downstream the peal of bells, white towers, and tram and dusty trees are the symbols of civilized life in the London suburbs. Then further, just a minute, guys. Yes. Highbury bore me, Richmond and Kew undid me. By Richmond I raised my knees supine on the floor of a narrow canal. My feet are at Moorgate and my heart under my feet. After the event he wept, he promised a new start. I made no comment. What should I resent? On Margate Sands, I can connect nothing with nothing. The broken fingernails of dirty hands. My people, humble people who expect nothing. Lala. I shall explain till nothing. Now here we have an explanation of what happens on the river bank to the daughters of Thames in the modern world. The scene now shifts to what happens on the river bank. We see there are three girls. The first girl, who comes from Highbury bore me. She tells the story of her sex experience. She tells in her boat she passed through Richmond and Kew. Now, Richmond and Kew are two picnic spots. Richmond are Kew and Kew are two picnic spots on the banks of River Thames, and there she was ravished. The first girl relates how her chastity was violated by the holiday revelers at the picnic spot, and the line on the picnic spot, and she was lying on the floor of the narrow canoe. Canoe is a boat, and raised my knees means got into compromising situation. So she relates her sexual encounter. The second girl gives her similar story of her sexual experience, and second girl belongs to Moorgate. She was criminally assaulted by a young man, and after the event, after the act, that man wept and he promised a new start. He felt repressed and he promised that he would behave better. The girl felt ashamed but did not express her displeasure. As it is said, I made no comment. I made no comment. She didn't express her displeasure. She kept quiet. And the third girl belongs to Moorgate Sands now. Margate Sands, and the Margate Sands was another picnic spot on the bank of the river. And after the sexual assault, her mind was awakened. After the mind was awakened, and she could not remember anything. She is compared to broken fingernails of dirty hands. She cannot remember anything, and she compares herself to broken fingernails of a dirty hand. And she says, my people, humble people who expect nothing. What does it mean? It means the people of her community expect nothing from life, and such sexual violation and humiliation is a part of the life of the poor people. We have a line here, 299. What should I resent? What does this mean? It means that why should the girl repent for what had happened? That sexual assault is nothing to be resented for. The poor girl regards rape as a common experience in their life. So, she says, my people, humble people who expect nothing. Therefore, she can't connect with this. And she thinks it is as a part of the life of the poor people. Therefore, she does not connect with it. She forgets everything. To Carthage then I came, burning, 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 burning. O Lord, thou pluckest me out. O Lord, thou pluckest burning. Now these 5 lines are very important, because this burning, it has a reference to Buddha's fire sermon, where he said that the world is burning in the fire of lust and hatred, which gives the title of this section, the fire sermon. Now this line, to Carthage then I came, it has a reference to the Confessions of Saint Augustine. He described Carthage as the cauldron of unholy love. And Saint Augustine prayed for God's help to save him from the fire of lust prevailing in Carthage. What we find here is, these are the concluding quotation for this section. It is taken from Saint Augustine's Confessions. O Lord, thou pluckest me out. O Lord, thou pluckest. Saint Augustine was a noted lecher in his days before he embraced religion, and this passage is placed directly before the last line of this section. What is the last line? Last line is burning. Single word, burning. And this one word refers to Buddhist sermon that gives the section its title, and which encourages men to extinguish the fires of lust, because that demoralizes us. Buddha and his followers did not believe in God. They believed that individual moral discipline and self control would enable them to overcome the fire of lust. These last four lines, this quotation from the Confessions of St. Augustine, seeks tells us that Augustine seeks God's grace for freedom from lust and is eventually saved. St. Augustine was saved by the grace of God. He thanks God for plucking him out of his evil ways. He thanks God for plucking him out of his evil ways because he was a lecher, and after he embraced religion, he became a celibate priest, and he encouraged sexual abstinence and avoidance of selfish pleasure. He thanks God for plucking him out of his evil ways. And these four lines also describe an early life of St. Augustine's sinful behavior, which was increased when he became a student in Carthage. And Carthage is a city filled with temptations. He described himself to be a slave to lust until he embraced Christianity, and after that, he changed his ways, and he thanks God for plucking him out of his evil ways. And with the last word, burning, this section comes to an end. So what do we see in this section is how can we conclude this section? The fire sermon tells us that lust or such temptations leads us to our degradation. We should control it. We should have determined will and self-control. Only then we will be able to live a good life, which is gifted to us by God. Otherwise, we wastelanders are living, but we are dead inside. Our soul is dead. We are simply living because we have to live. There is no life otherwise. And we see the T.S. Eliot has mentioned London as the unreal city. He has depicted the change in River Thames when it was sweet Thames to the river sweats oil and tar. With this section comes to an end. Hope you understood and liked it. Do like, share, and subscribe. Feel free to comment, and we'll be coming up with the next section, that is death by water, very soon. Thank you so much.